che Gary stava facendo il tour in Italia, gli ho dovuto fare una domanda legata all'Italia, cioè cosa ne pensasse del nostro primo ministro Giorgia Meloni. I was really curious about your take on Meloni.
Meloni. I'm not an expert on Meloni. I see her in part of the greater context of, rapidly accelerating popularity of the right and the far right across Europe, of course in the US, across the world. Living standards are falling and people vote for these kind of center-right, center-left politicians again and again, and living standards keep falling, and living standards keep falling, and living standards keep falling, and people want something different. And people will vote for something different, and I think Meloni is just the start of something, and it's obviously not just in Italy. We can all see Trump. I think Reform and Farage in the UK will win the next UK election. People can see that the economic status quo is not working and they want something different. I don't think Meloni will make living standards better for your average Italian. I don't think Trump will make living standards better for your average American. But the problem is, when Meloni fails to improve living standards, what comes after Meloni?
Yeah. Of course.
This will go further and further and further. Look what happened in this country 100 years ago. Look what happened across the world 100 years ago. Don't be an idiot.
Insomma, quello che sto dicendo è che il GDP, cioè il PIL dei paesi, anche se sale, non necessariamente corrisponde al fatto che la classe media di quei paesi stia migliorando. E questo perché, oltre a salire il PIL dei paesi, quindi la ricchezza complessiva, sale anche la diseguaglianza.
Even in China, which is growing so quickly, there's a growing movement which is this growth is not helping the people. When we had the big Brexit discussion in the UK, there was one moment, big TV moment, where a politician said if we leave the EU, GDP is going to fall by whatever, 5%, 7%. And a woman in the audience, she stood up and she said, that's your GDP. And the truth is she's right, because how much higher is GDP now than it was 30 or 40 years ago? And yet in many, many ways, living standards in my country, the UK, are significantly worse than they were 30 or 40 years ago. Listen, I'm not against GDP growth. I'm not against entrepreneurship. I'm not against a dynamic economy. But if your growth is delivering falling living standards, then what the fuck is it for? I think the economy should be about supporting people to have good lives, not just 1% at the top to live lives of luxury. I want ordinary people to be able to live dignified lives and have secure families. And if GDP growth is not delivering that, and I don't think it is in America or in China or increasingly in Europe, I don't see the point.